Greetings, it is I, Tantus Narvan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! It is time to continue our discussion on D20 Modern, a modern take on the D20 system back from the time of 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons. So let's start talking about it. I was talking about classes last time. There's some more information about classes I want to mention. So let's talk about experience points, or XP. You gain experience points through a variety of actions you're going to take throughout the game. But at certain points in time, you gain a level. Gaining a level is advancing in whatever abilities your character has. It's from the class abilities, anything you have, skills, your combat abilities. Every time you level up, any benefits from the class that you're taking level up with you. And you go down the list of seeing what everything would advance in the class, what abilities from your class would advance. Now, when you do level, you can choose to start taking another class. You can choose to multi-class and have more than one hero class. When you multi-class, you do not gain the first level benefits of that class. You gain benefits as if you'd gain another level in that class. So effectively, if I'm first level in one hero class and I'm getting a second level, I would gain all the benefits from moving to second level, all the general benefits, and then I would gain all the benefits from this class, gaining what it would give you at first level, but it would not necessarily stack the same way because I wouldn't gain any specific first level benefits of my new class, if you can understand that. So I gain a lot of benefits from taking the second class, but not all the ones you'd think you have. You're not just taking both of them and being first level in both. You're taking one, getting most of what I would have. Now, every time you level, you choose which one to level up in. So I could keep gaining levels, so this one only have one level here. It's your choice how you level them as you gain the experience and level up. Now let's move on and start talking about skills. I've talked about skills in other systems, but this one has some unique ways, some unique takes on it that I should explain, because these are some classic ways of looking at skills. Now, you gain skill points. The number of skill points you get is dependent upon your class and your intelligence modifier. Your class will tell you, I gain X skill points every time I level. I gain my modifier of intelligence bonus as a bonus to this number. When you get these skill points, you can spend them on your class and cross-class skills. Class skills cost you 1 skill point per 1 rank. So it's 1-to-1 to get class skills. Cross-class skills cost you 2 skill points per 1 rank in a cross-class skill. So it costs you double the cost to get a cross-class skill. That would mean that you can take any skill, because any skill that's not a class skill is, of course, a cross-class skill for you. Now, the maximum number of ranks you can have in any skill, if it's a class skill, is equal to your character level plus 3. So if I'm level 1, I can have 4, etc., etc., etc. That's my maximum number of ranks in a class skill. Cross-class skills, half that amount. So if I would be, of course, level 1, where I could have 4 in a class skill, I could only have 2 in a cross-class skill at level 1, because it's half of that 4. Now, when making a skill check, I roll a d20, I add my skill ranks, I add the ability score modifier that's been told to me is appropriate to that skill, and I add any miscellaneous modifiers together. And if I equal or exceed whatever DC, whatever difficulty class my game master has decided for me, then I'm succeeded at that skill. Now let's talk about the number of ranks you get at levels. Now this is the important one. At first level, that means your character level first level, not your class level first level, you gain whatever appropriate skill points you would gain for that level. So let's say it says it's 3 plus your intelligence modifier, and you multiply that number times 4. So if I've got 3, my intelligence modifier is 1, I'd be gaining 4 skill points per level. At first level, I gain 4 times that, 16. So that's what it is effectively at first level, whatever your first level is, your actual first character level, you gain 4 times what you would gain on every subsequent level. So that's how you figure out how many skill points you start with and how many skill points you get every time I level. So I would get that 16, next level 4, 4, 4, 4, down the line as I level, unless my intelligence change, or I would take another level in a class. So if I take a different level in a different class, then I don't get that times 4. I get whatever I would at that level. So this is one of those first level starting bonuses I talked about when I was talking about multi-classing just a minute ago. Now, there is another note I want to say here, very important. You do not automatically succeed on 20 on a skill check. There are times with attacks and saves where a 20 will automatically be success. At a skill check, it is not. You can still fail on it if you don't get a huge amount of bonus and you roll a 20. It's you just don't have the capabilities of doing whatever skill that is. Now, as I mentioned before, a skill will have a DC. A DC can be anywhere from 0 to 40, depending on what your GM thinks is appropriate to the point in time that you're rolling it. 0 would imply you should be able to do it automatically. Why are you even thinking about rolling unless you have a penalty to your roll? And in that case, yeah, I've got to check it. You know, whatever penalty is applying to me is making this probably almost impossible to fail challenge possible to fail. On the other hand, you could have opposed checks where I'm competing with someone else at some kind of skill that the book mentions a number of skills that if I'm rolling that skill, what is opposed by? So I roll this one and the other person rolls their skill which is appropriate to oppose mine, and we see which one of us succeeds and wins it out. Whoever gets higher, of course, wins. Now, you can try some skills again. A skill will mention whether you can try it again over and over again. There's certain circumstances where I'm trying to leap across a gap. I can't really try that again. If I fail, I'm probably falling. I mean, I can climb all the way back up and try again, but when they imply try again, it means that I can do it right away, right afterwards, that I haven't lost anything for failing. They will also list whether you can do a skill untrained. Untrained means I do not need a rank in it. I do not need a skill rank. Whether it's class or cross-class, I can still roll it. I would just use my ability modifier. There are, of course, skills that you need to be trained for, and then regardless if it is a class skill and you take a rank in, or a cross-class skill and you take a rank in it, you need a rank in it to roll it. That's what it means to be trained in it. That you, regardless of the type of skill it is, you at least need one rank in it to roll it. Now, certain circumstances and situations can modify your skill rolls. There can be ones that are listed under any skill. Also, circumstances can occur that your GM will let you know, oh, this is going on, you're receiving a penalty or bonus to your skill check. If there's a horrible wind blowing against you in your face when you're trying to jump across things, that's like, would actually possibly push someone back. You know, you got hurricane force winds coming across you, or windstorm-based winds, and you're trying to jump across that gap. It's probably more difficult than if I'm just doing it on a, windless day. That's blowing against me, causing me more force. I need more punch in order to jump across. Skills will also let you know what kind of time it takes to do this. It'll tell you what kind of action, or if it is more than just an action, how long it would take you to accomplish using that skill. Sometimes skills might only take you like a simple action to do, must effectively be a movement, things like that. There are other times where it might take you like 10 minutes to make a skill check. It's how long. Skills will also let you know if you need any special tools to use them. There are certain skills that will require you to have some kind of tool or device to use. Like if you're crafting something, you need the specialized tools oftentimes to craft that, and the skill will let you know. Now, there could be times for automatic success. Effectively, when you're talking about automatic success, it's not just the difficulty 0 checks where you don't have to roll. There are a couple other times. If I have enough of a bonus that when my GM determines the DC, I could not fail on a 1, they're going to assume I would automatically succeed. So that means even at my minimum roll for the D20, if my bonus is enough to succeed at the DC of it, I'm automatically succeeding. You could also possibly take a 10 or a 20. Taking a 10 means that if I'm not distracted and I'm not in any threatened, I can just assume on my roll for the base time it would take me to use this skill, I rolled a 10. So that's what it is. Effectively what it is whatever base time it would need to take using that skill, if I'm, again, not threatened, not distracted, I can just take a 10 and automatically get a 10 on my roll in order to use that skill. Taking a 20 is a little different. Taking 20 is effectively the same thing. You just have to have the same sort of circumstances, except you need time. You're taking extra time in order to do this. It's assuming that I have a lot of extra time in order to use this skill, in order to set up myself as the best result for it. Most skills that have penalties for failure are not going to be allowing you to take 10s and 20s very often because there's a penalty for failing. I couldn't be able to take a 10 because circumstances will tell me that failure will cause something terrible to happen to me or put me in a very terrible situation that taking a 10 may or may not save me from, so therefore it wants me to roll to have that more random chance. Now, more than one person can work together on a skill. One person is the primary roller, and other people are assistants. Depending on whatever skill it is, depends on the number of assistants you can get. Your GM will tell you, oh, one person could help out, or maybe 3 people could help out, depending on the circumstances. So the primary person rolls their check, they see what they get. Everyone else that's an assistant rolls a D20, rolls a skill check. The DC is 10. If they meet that 10, they grant a +2 bonus to the primary person. This is the aid and other action that let's say I'm as assistant, I roll, I get my 10 or higher. I'm granting the other person +2 now to their check. So whatever they would have rolled, that primary person, they get an additional 2. There can be circumstances where I, as a assister, roll higher than the guy that's doing it primarily, but it's random chance. It's a skill check. You don't know what I'm going to roll. I could roll a 20, they could roll a 1, and if they have a bonus that's nowhere near the difference between us, just because I'm assisting them, they could still fail. So that's it for today. I finished talking about classes with experience, multi-classing, gaining levels in classes, and I moved into talking about skills. I talked about some of the basics of them, how many skill points you get, what it costs you to buy a rank in a skill, some of the basics of how skills work. In the next episode, I'm going to finish talking about skills and go over everything you need to know, and I'm going to aim to move into talking about feats. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I've left out, please just leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe so you support the channel, the Empire, and the work I do. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.